So here I'm with Sepide and Paul to talk about CanAvenue, an independent language learning platform. The word Avenue has already been mentioned. That is our formal language training platform for LINC and CLIC, and it's been available since August 2020, but in fact the roots of our project go back to 2010. We just had different names for things back then. But Avenue is currently used across Canada in every province, and I believe one territory. In any given month, there are over 26,000 active users. That means teachers and learners, and of course managers. And it's been a huge success. It's been mandated by IRCC for use by all LINC and CLIC programs. It's also used in Ontario government-funded ESL. But for years, we've identified independent language learning as a service gap because we've known for a long time that most newcomers who are eligible for formal language training don't take advantage of it. And you all work in the immigrant settlement sector, so you know how many different reasons there are for that, the job and family pressures and so forth. But we're very pleased to now be able to offer CanAvenue. We had what I'd call a soft launch in October. I'm saying soft because a couple of important functionalities weren't present yet, and they're now imminent. I'll discuss them a little more detail later. But really, we're targeting prospective immigrants in pre-arrival mode, and really top of mind for this presentation are the waiting lists that someone mentioned a little earlier. Those are really problematic. We hate the idea of newcomers spinning their wheels, waiting for a seat in a language class. And then we also know there are learners in formal language training who need or want supplementary curriculum. I don't know how many language educators are in the audience today, but you'll know those students who always chew through whatever you give them and look for more are present in the between the four walls of a classroom. And then we have newcomers who actually prefer to learn autonomously, or they're facing multiple insurmountable barriers to LINC participation. And then, of course, there are newcomers who have exhausted their formal language training eligibility. And of course, that I think probably everyone's aware of the changes taking place in LINC. And after August next year, there will be no more stage 2 LINC. So that population of learners who have no eligibility is going to expand enormously. Then, of course, refugee claimants and temporary foreign workers. So we're trying to reach all these groups with information about CanAvenue and how they can get involved. They can be hard to reach, which is what motivates us to present to groups like this, because you in turn can suggest to them that they check out the platform. So what's the value proposition? Why would a newcomer want to get an account on CanAvenue and take advantage of the training? Well, accessibility, it's available anytime, anywhere they have an internet connection and a device. It's totally free. It's totally IRCC funded. The only thing a learner needs to enroll is a name and an email address. We don't even care if the name is a real one or not, in case they have some reason for not putting their real name up there. And then since we began development in the fall of 2022, we've focused a lot on learner efficacy. That is enabling them to learn. So we've made a lot of use of extensive reading and extensive listening. Module development, intensive reading and listening are to be developed further down the road. We're also working hard to include writing, speaking, and pronunciation practice, online language skills assessment in the form of the online self-assessment test, which I don't know if you're familiar with. It's been around for a few years. It was developed by Achieve in Ontario in partnership with the Center for Benchmarks, and produces a CLB diagnostic result in language proficiency. Almost all of CanAvenue is aligned with the CLBs. We've focused very strongly on practical real-life learning, both in terms of situations that a newcomer might encounter, but also in terms of skill building. And then we feel cultural orientation is essential. So all of the materials on CanAvenue are made in Canada for Canadian newcomers. They're not, if you go to Duolingo or Babbel, all the material tends to be culturally neutral. That's not the case on CanAvenue at all. And then we're working hard to make the site as engaging as possible, partly by sharing newcomer stories through moderated forums and blog posts. There are two broad proficiency levels for now. CLB 3.4 is the lower one. We'd call that high beginner. And then 5 to 7 is the other. And then there are some literacy materials. But our intention also is to create CLB 1-2 learning opportunities. Some of the E-units, and Sepide and Paul will give you a tour in a minute, and then you'll have a chance to see some of these things in more depth. But we're working on an orientation to independent language learning, an orientation to formal language learning, which is very pertinent for people on LINC waiting lists. In other words, in that course, the formal language learning course, they'll be preparing to be effective learners in the classroom. Then a large library of reading and listening activities in the form of little books, pronunciation practice. This is designed for autonomous pronunciation practice, but it's based on teacher-guided pronunciation modules that were developed for Avenue. And then another similar adaptation of citizenship test preparation. And then the skill builders, these resided on Avenue for years, but they're not PBLA, but they're still very effective in building skills across reading, writing, listening, and speaking. And then links to external web apps. There are all kinds of good applications out there for developing your English skills autonomously. We don't want to replace those. We want to complement them with CanAvenue and then lead learners to make constructive decisions about using external apps. And then I already described the online self-assessment test from Achieve, which will be available within a week or two, I believe.
And thanks for inviting us again, everyone. So once the user types the address CanAvenue.ca in their browser, they will arrive on our landing page here. There is some information included in the landing page, but I think the best overview that a user can get from the website is by watching this video. So I'll play the video. It's not very long and it's very informative.
Hello, and welcome to CanAvenue.ca, the place to learn Canadian English online, anywhere, anytime, and from any device. CanAvenue is a self-study website. There is no teacher involved. This means that you are in control of your learning. High beginner, intermediate, advanced? Choose from hundreds of lessons. Improve your English and learn about life in Canada. CanAvenue offers so many opportunities for you to study and practice all 4 English skills: reading, writing, listening, and speaking. You can even do special pronunciation exercises. To get started, take the free English test or choose your own level. Start learning now with CanAvenue.ca, funded by Immigration, Refugees and Citizenship Canada, IRCC.
All right, so this is our virtual teacher who is available in all of our courses, and she explains each course to the learners, and she also guides them on how to navigate the course and how to complete the activities in the course. And I will show you later on in a course how this works. So going back to our enrollment form over here, if someone already has an account, they will click on sign in. If not, they will click on create account. And it's a very simple process to create an account on CanAvenue. So just accept the terms and conditions, click on I agree. The next page will take them to the privacy policy. Again, they can read. If they agree, they click on next. And finally, there's a consent form. If they agree, they click here and they click on next. And that's pretty much what they need to do in the first time they want to sign up for an account. And here, there's a very short form. They just complete the form and they create their account by clicking on this button. I'm going to skip this because I've already created a user account that I will use to show the different courses available here. So email, password, click on login. And this will take them to the My Courses tab, where they will be able to see all of the courses that they've enrolled in. So we have courses for stage 1 and stage 2. Pretty much everything on CanAvenue is mirrored for both stages. The first few courses you see on the top of the page are for formal language training in Canada. This is a 4-part series. We have part 1, 2, 3, and 4 for both levels. And then we have the Canadian Citizenship series, again in 4 parts, and Paul will explain these in more detail. We have the pronunciation course. We have the skill builders for levels 3 to 7. These are the old legacy courses on Learn IT to Teach. We have the listening libraries on stage 1 and stage 2, and I will dive a little bit deeper in a couple of minutes. We have the literacy reading course and 2 courses or 2 libraries for extensive reading. Again, the libraries are all the same. They mirror each other except for the language level. So if we click on one of these, like the stage 1 library, we will be taken to the course homepage. So there is a menu over here, like a table of contents. Users can click on any of these, but they can also use the homepage cards as well. So this is where our virtual teacher gives instructions about the course and explains what it is and how they need to navigate and complete the activities. This is a longer video, so I'm just going to skip it, but I wanted you to see how it works. So here are all the instructions about the library basically and how to use it. So going back to the library main page, you will see all the course cards. Each card represents a series of books. We have the Canadian Celebration series, which talks about Canadian festivals and holidays and how people across the country celebrate them. If you click on the card, you will see a number of books. I mean, these are thumbnails. Users need to click on each thumbnail to open the book. and read it. So the books come in different lengths. Most of them have lots of pictures, and these pictures help with the vocabulary, skill building. If there's a new word, instead of just giving the definition, we tried to show the meaning with a picture. And once they go to the end of the book, sorry, not this end, here near the end of the book, they can click here to take a quiz, a comprehension quiz with 7 questions. But this is optional. If they want to test their comprehension, they will do that. Otherwise, they can click here to return to the website again. So back to our website and the homepage for the library. There are more book series for users to explore. We have the Canadian City Snapshots, which are books about large Canadian cities that newcomers might choose to land in, and the kind of services and schools or education, jobs, housing, which are all available in those cities. Scrolling down, there's another series, Canadian Life, which are stories from Canadian families and how they overcome challenges on a daily basis. And these challenges are not necessarily very dire challenges. Sometimes they're just everyday decisions that people have to make in their lives. The next series is developed about the First Nations, and learners can read more about how the world was made and how First Peoples came to live in it. And this series was developed with close consultation with our subject matter experts from First Nations. And we have the National Wonders series talking about different places in Canada and the national and natural attractions of the country. And then we have our Environment series, a number of books about environmental issues facing Canada, and Visit Canada, which is a series with a more touristy twist about how, and I mean, what to see in each of the large cities of Canada, what to do, where to stay, where to eat, and things like that. So if I go back to the My Courses page and scroll down to the libraries, like I said, you will see we have the same library for stage 2, the same books, the same titles, everything is the same except for language level. Another element of our reading library are our literacy readers. And these are designed for foundation to L2 literacy levels. Of course, other people might also want to read them. Perhaps for CLVs 1 and 2, they can also be useful. The users will click on the cards and they will see the books. The books are very much similar to what I just demonstrated. The only difference is that at the bottom of each page, there is an audio that supports the written sentence on the text, and this will help with literacy reading.
There are different ways of transportation. Transportation is when people move from place to place.
So all the book is accompanied with the audio for each sentence, and similar to the other library, learners will be able to take an optional quiz or click here to go back to CanAvenue and read more. These series are not topic-based yet, but we are hoping we will have a larger number of books so we can also create different topics like the ones that we had for the other reading libraries. So very closely connected to our reading libraries, we have 2 listening libraries for stage 1 and 2. These again mirror the reading libraries, so almost all the content is the same. There's a Start Here video, and there is a card for all the same book series that we had in our reading library. The only difference is that learners click here on the card, and instead of seeing the book, they click to listen to an audio slideshow. And this slideshow is
Calgary
accompanied
Stampede.
by pictures.
The Calgary Stampede is a big event. It happens in July in Calgary, Canada.
So again, learners can watch the video and listen to the audio till the end. And if they like, they can take the quiz. You might have noticed that for both books, I just demonstrated the one for the literacy level and the one for this stage 1 level. We have selected readers who have a slight accent and they are from a different linguistic background from English. And we did that so all our learners can listen to different varieties of English and try to adjust their listening. So going back to the listening library, again, you can see that we have all the same series and the same books are also available for listening. Now let's go back to the My Courses page and talk about one more course before I hand it over to Paul. This would be our pronunciation training course. Like Rob said, this was based on a course that was available on Avenue.ca. That course was specifically designed to be used by teachers in a classroom. We are in the process of modifying this one in order to make it suitable for independent language learning. Most of the units are completed, but we still need to work on some more. So when a learner arrives on this page, they have the choice to work with 10 of the most difficult vowels in English and try practicing these vowels to improve their pronunciation. When they click on the course, they will see an animation. They will see two speakers, the videos of two speakers pronouncing the sound from a front and a side view. And they will also be able to complete all the activities here. Now for this course, we have, oops, sorry. Let's go to this one. Okay, so going back to the course page, we have 10 units for the 10 vowels I just mentioned. We have a chart and a number of animations that compare how the vowels are pronounced in the vocal track. We have several units that compare consonants which are very similar in place and matter of articulation. And we also have a number of units that work on word stress and blending. These are not available yet, but we are updating the activities and we'll make them available very soon. So I'm going to stop my share now and hand it over to Paul, and he will show you the other courses we have.
So I'm signed in here as a sample student, as Sepide had done, and I'm going to show there is the My Courses page and the home page, and there's also a menu students can choose from where they can select a different category and see the courses in that category. So first we'll take a look at the citizenship category, and as you can see here, there's part 1, 2, 3, and 4. These are based on the Discover Canada series and help students understand the rights and responsibilities of citizenship. I'll just open part 1 here so you can see what the course looks like. Very similar layout to the others with the different sections and some how-to videos to help. If I open one of these topic sections, you'll see that there's a group of different activities to practice reading, writing, a little bit of speaking and listening, and understanding the rights of citizenship in this particular section here. So there's a lot of activities. A student would be hard-pressed to get through all of these in a few months, so lots of work for students to be doing online and helping them to understand more about citizenship and prepare for the test. The next section I'd like to look at is the English practice area. These are the old legacy courseware activities we had from the EduLink site, if you're familiar with that name, Free Avenue. We didn't want to sort of throw them away though, they're excellent skill builders, and so we've added them to CanAvenue in an autonomous way so students can learn on their own. So as we come in here, there's some very familiar topics to LINC teachers, all the old LINC activity book topics and themes. If I go into, say, Canada here, for example, you'll see that there are activities for reading. There's some writing activities, listening activities, and speaking activities. So each of these sections has all this variety of different activity types to keep things engaging and interesting for students. And as Rob had mentioned, it's all Canadian themed and relevant to settling in Canada. So these courses are great for skill building activities for students. The next one I'd like to look at is the formal language training in Canada. This is like a bridge, as Rob had mentioned. If a student is on a waiting list or in pre-arrival mode, and they want to get to know what the LINC class will be like, or the CLIC class when they come to Canada, they can come into this course and learn about that. There is stage 1 and stage 2 for formal language training in Canada, and the different sections are the introduction, the orientation, language training options, and Canadian classrooms. So students can go through all these courses and first of all learn what is formal language training, how can they access it, and then what will the classrooms be like when they get there. So I'll click on one here, the Stage 1 Training Canadian Classroom section. A great course going through culture and expectations, choosing the best format for your needs, and then some student success stories and tips. If I click on one of the sections here and go in to see it, there's a variety of different activities that are built and based on real newcomer experiences to help students understand what they can expect when they arrive in the formal language training classrooms in Canada. So these are great courses as a bridge to kind of get students ready for that formal language training in Canada.
We're really determined to make the CanAvenue site as sticky as possible. And that means keeping learners engaged and on tasks on the platform. So there's a number of different ways that we'll be doing this, and Paul will be kind of leading the charge as our learner engagement point of contact. But if any of you have used some of those Duolingo or Babbel or Rosetta Stone options, you'll know they can get repetitive and they lack the social engagement that learners should expect when they're engaged with learning a language. So we're hoping to improve on that model with something that provides some opportunities to share stories, experiences, and really develop a community of practice with other newcomers. And then this has also been mentioned. One thing that wasn't mentioned is the mixer. And we're basing this on a language buddy matching system that was developed in the States. We've talked to them and the model is fairly easy to replicate. The aim would be to match newcomers with language buddies and create for them to create opportunities between them to practice English. And then, of course, Paul mentioned Canadian music. And then also a priority is adding CLB 1-2 in the form of those same skill builders you were looking at for those CLB levels and more literacy instruction. And when I put and more at the bottom of that slide, what I mean to say is that the platform will be constantly enhanced and expanded as time goes on. The funder is very supportive of this initiative. So we have the resources going into the new contribution agreement cycle to continue to make CanAvenue better and better and more appealing. And so our initial target, I mentioned the soft launch in October. Our initial target learners are newcomers on LINC waiting lists, but we also want to spread the word among newcomers that their friends, families, colleagues, and communities are all eligible to use CanAvenue. Since they don't necessarily engage with English channels of communication, getting the word out through folks like you is essential. And then on April 1st, we're going to take our promotion up a notch, and we're going to work with formal language training providers, settlement services agencies like ABU, and sorry, I'm picking on ABU because ASA is one of our target organizations as a channel for promoting CanAvenue, and we'd like Paul to be in touch with you to discuss doing a session for all the member agencies of ASA. And then we'll be leveraging social media and webinars as well. And I just thought I'd share this with you. Our IT department sent us this map this week. It was really gratifying to see as someone who's worked long and hard on CanAvenue, and I think I'm speaking for everybody on the team when I say that. This is a current snapshot of the IP addresses that are already using CanAvenue, and there are about 19,000 of them. And I believe we have about 4,000 learner accounts out there now. It's growing by, I don't know, about 100 a day, even without the hard push for enrollment that we're engaging in today and moving forward.